6 p.m. on Thursday here in Korea. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ji-hye. And these are the top stories we're following at this hour. The two Koreas exchange fire along the western border, and the South Korean military evacuates over 100 citizens near the area. President Park Geun-hye will make a 3-day visit to China early next month to attend a ceremony marking the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II. Samsung Electronics unveils its new handsets in Korea, as well as a mobile payment system, with the aim of reviving up its sluggish smartphone business. We begin with this breaking news. North Korea has fired shots across the border into South Korea, and Seoul has responded with artillery fire. Let's go live to our Defense Ministry correspondent Kim Hyun-bin for the details. Hyun-bin.
Ji-hye, it was 3:52 p.m. this afternoon that North Korea fired a rocket across the border, targeting South Korea's loudspeakers right along the military demarcation line. Now, Seoul Defense Ministry announced earlier this Thursday that a rocket was fired towards the South's western front, but that there are no reports of any damages. The South Korean military responded with tens of 155mm artillery rounds at the origin of attack. The ministry said its radar picked up the trajectory, and Seoul's military has been put on full alert. An evacuation order has also been issued for all residents in the Haengsangri Samgongri area. Now, meanwhile, Seoul's National Security Council Standing Committee is expected to convene an emergency meeting at the presidential office of Cheongwade to discuss the issue. Now, that's all I have for now, but we'll have more updates in the later newscast.
Now, given such heightened tensions between the two Koreas, questions now linger over Pyongyang's intentions and the prospects for the ties between the South and the North. Our Connie Kim spoke to experts for some possible answers.
North Korea's recent landmine attack at the demilitarized zone killed any hopes for an immediate improvement in inter-Korean relations. Experts say Pyongyang's recent provocation is not only a means to gain the upper hand when dealing with Seoul, but also intended to internally solidify the regime.
When there is military tension, North Korea's army shows strong unity, pledging loyalty to the young North Korean leader. By creating an atmosphere of a possible war, Kim Jong-un is seeking to bring his unstable military together.
And amid speculations that the North could fire a long-range rocket in October, marking the 70th anniversary of its Workers' Party foundation, relations between South and North Korea are not expected to cozy up anytime soon. Moreover, it's been reported that the North recently conducted an engine test at its upgraded rocket launch site. To counter these provocations and offer a breakthrough in inter-Korean ties, some analysts say that bold actions by President Park Geun-hye could probably be the answer.
If President Park Geun-hye offers to hold talks over regular reunions for war-separated families, the resumption of the Mount Kumgang resort, and lifting economic sanctions, there is a possibility inter-Korean relations could improve at a fast pace.
Other experts, however, are hinting at the possibility that Pyongyang could actually aim at requesting a specific type of talks.
There is the possibility that Pyongyang could offer to hold military talks with Seoul with the intention of putting an end to South Korea's loudspeaker broadcasting. It will probably be after the anniversary of North Korea's founding of the ruling Workers' Party that Kim Jong-un will feel as he has gained control over the regime.
But even if military talks take place, experts say they're unlikely to bear much fruit unless the two Koreas first agree on rebuilding trust on the military front. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
Shifting gears, ending days of speculation, President Park Geun-hye has decided to attend China's war victory celebrations in Beijing next month. The presidential office in Seoul, however, delayed making a formal decision on President Park's attendance at the Chinese military parade. Our Choi Yu-sun reports.
The presidential office of Cheongwade confirmed that President Park will embark on a 3-day trip to China on September 2nd to attend events marking the 70th anniversary of Japan's surrender in World War II on the 3rd. She will also meet Chinese President Xi Jinping for summit talks, where North Korea's recent landmine attack in the demilitarized zone and the North's nuclear program will likely top the agenda. In Shanghai, President Park is expected to attend a reopening ceremony for the headquarters of Korea's provisional government during Japan's colonial rule. However, it remains to be seen whether she will attend the Chinese military's parade, the highlight of the war victory celebrations.
We are currently finalizing the details of President Park's trip to China and will make them known at the appropriate time.
While U.S. President Barack Obama and other Western leaders view the parade as a showcase of Beijing's military prowess and will likely skip the ceremonies, President Park will give it serious deliberation considering Korea's relations with its major regional partner, China, and a key ally, the U.S. President Park is expected to take the initiative in Beijing to address diplomacy issues in Northeast Asia and to restore momentum for resuming the long-stalled trilateral summit with China and Japan later this year. If Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe attends the celebrations and progress is made regarding a three-way meeting, it may help narrow historical differences and improve Seoul's relations with Tokyo. President Park's office added there were no signs that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un or any high-ranking official from Pyongyang will attend the event. Choi Yu-sun, Arirang News.
Now, another sticking point surrounding China's war victory celebrations is whether or not North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will be in attendance. But as our Hwang Sung-hee tells us, the young leader will likely stay away from the party.
If North Korean leader Kim Jong-un attends China's war victory celebrations, it will mark his first overseas trip since assuming power in 2011. It will also signal the normalization of strained Beijing-Pyongyang ties and possible progress on North Korea's denuclearization. But the chances of seeing the young leader in China next month are slim. With just 2 weeks left until the celebrations, relations between the two longtime allies remain frosty with no sign of thawing. Besides, Pyongyang has yet to send its RSVP to Beijing. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and his North Korean counterpart Lee Soo-yong did not hold a separate meeting at the ASEAN Regional Forum earlier this month. Experts say Kim's absence in China next month will also diffuse hopes for better inter-Korean relations.
Kim's absence will close the window for Beijing to persuade Pyongyang to refrain from any military provocations in time for the 70th anniversary of the founding of the Korean Workers' Party. Tensions will be high from the end of this year and next year.
If Kim decides to attend, some point to the possibility of a surprise meeting between President Park Geun-hye and the North Korean leader. Hwang Sung-hee, Arirang News.
Before the exchange of fire between the two Koreas that took place just now, the ruling party said Pyongyang should put an end to its flexing of military muscle at the border, while the opposition party insisted on a more flexible approach. Our Ji Myung-gil has more.
The ruling Saenuri party criticized North Korea on Thursday for intensifying its combat readiness drills, as both Koreas have recently engaged in loudspeaker propaganda warfare at the border.
We urge North Korea to stop escalating military tensions on the Korean peninsula. Provocations will only deepen the North's isolation and fray inter-Korean relations. Pyongyang must bear in mind they are responsible for provoking the escalating tensions at the DMZ.
South Korea has accused of North Korea of intentionally burying landmines on the southern side of the demilitarized zone that separates the two Koreas. Seoul resumed loudspeaker propaganda campaigns along the tensely guarded border in retaliation for the detonation of North Korean mines earlier this month. However, the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy urged the South Korean government to refrain from using an eye for an eye tactic to deal with the North's provocations.
The government and the ruling party are incompetent and irresponsible. Despite inter-Korean relations deteriorating, the president just waits for North Korea to change. We must ensure watertight security against the North while being supple in the negotiations.
Moon criticized the incumbent government for refusing to consider lifting the sanctions imposed on Pyongyang in 2010 as a result of the sinking of a South Korean naval ship, saying it is hindering efforts to improve relations with the North. He urged Seoul's government to be prudent in its dealings with Pyongyang, stressing that engaging in talks with the North regime was the key to easing tensions on the Korean peninsula. 지명규, Arirang News.
Former Prime Minister and current opposition party lawmaker Han Myung-suk was convicted this afternoon on charges of receiving illegal political funds in 2007. Korea's Supreme Court upheld an appellate court's 2-year prison sentence for Han. The 70-year-old politician was found guilty of accepting around $750,000 in bribes from a businessman for influence peddling. She denied the accusations and was undergoing trials for the past 5 years. The conviction strips Han of her seat in parliament. She's also the first former prime minister to go to prison. Soon after the ruling, Han leaders and lawmakers of the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy pleaded her innocence. They criticized the ruling as political persecution. Han served as the first gender equality minister during the Kim Dae-jung administration and the first ever female prime minister during the Roh Moo-hyun administration. Moving on to some economic news, uncertainties in the global economy are putting Korea in a difficult position, and the concerns are being felt. The country's benchmark Kospi fell nearly 25 points today, followed by yesterday's drop. Shin Se-min reports.
China's recent decision to devalue its yuan and signals the U.S. Federal Reserve will start hike rates next month is putting weight on the Korean economy. Speaking at a parliamentary committee meeting on Thursday, Finance Minister Choi Kyung-hwan said global economic uncertainties are fueling risks for Asia's fourth largest economy. China knocked the yuan down 4.66% 3 days in a row last week after the country's bad economic data. Che said worries have risen over the competitiveness of exporters competing with Chinese counterparts and said the government is looking into possible responses should risks facing the Korean economy increase. Saying devaluation of the yuan is fueling uncertainties in emerging markets, adding to economic risks, Che said it is putting considerable pressure on the Korean economy, rousing volatility in the local stock and foreign exchange markets. Reflecting the uncertainties, Korea's benchmark Kospi dropped 1.28% on Thursday to finish at 1,914.55, the lowest level since January this year. It's the second drop in 2 days after the index fell below 1,950 mark on Wednesday, triggered by dampened investment sentiment as uncertainties overshadows global economy. But minutes of the U.S. Fed's July meeting show it may be keeping its dovish stance, and officials hint the decision to raise interest rates is inching closer. Experts say, however, concerns still linger over the possibility of China's unsettling market, and a plunge in global crude prices may make it even more difficult to predict what decision the Fed will make on rates at its next policy meeting in September. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
The smartphones are getting bigger, and so is the buzz. Korea's Samsung Electronics has officially released not one, but 2 large-screen smartphone models on its home turf. The company hopes the devices will give its flagging smartphone sales a much-needed shot in the arm. Song Ji-sun has the details.
1 week after their unveiling at a glitzy press event in New York City, Samsung Electronics' latest phablet models, the Galaxy Note 5 and the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, hit store shelves in Seoul and across Korea on Thursday. Both devices come with rounded edges, wireless charging, and attractive pricing, with the retail price of a 32GB Galaxy Note 5 dropping below the $900 mark for the first time.
Compared to my Nexus smartphone, I really like the Note 5's design and colors. I've just tried taking photos with it, and the device's processing speed and resolution are impressive.
As well as the new smartphones, the Korean tech giant has also launched Samsung Pay. The mobile payment service enables users to buy things by tapping their smartphone against credit card readers. Looking to get a head start on Apple ahead of the iPhone 6s's expected arrival next month, Samsung sped up the launch by a couple of weeks. Samsung has a firm grip on the global smartphone market, but Apple and Chinese manufacturers have been eating into their share, despite the Korean firm's release of other high-end devices in the first half.
Samsung has loaded its new models with its most advanced technology. It has also improved its supply chain, which came up short in the first half with the Galaxy S6 Edge model. but the outlook for the mobile sector remains dim, as competition with Apple will intensify at the high end of the market. Samsung has better earnings prospects in memory chips, where market conditions are more favorable.
Samsung has also revamped its low-end smartphone lineup in a desperate bid to reverse its dropping share of the global smartphone market. Sales in both premium and low-end categories will be crucial to Samsung's hopes of rebounding from record low profitability in the second half. 송지선, Arirang News.
And that brings us to the end of our newscast. More updates coming up at 10 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned and goodbye for now.